story. Strange things are happening to me. Ain't no doubt about it. That's right, folks. We're talking Stranger Things today here on Real Pastors. In our hiatus of Real Pastors,
Hmm.
Stranger Things is come and gone. It has ended. And Efra and I were both big fans of the show. So we thought, you know what? Why not take an episode to just talk about our thoughts of Stranger Things as a series as a whole? So,
Yeah.
welcome to a special Strange edition of Real Pastors.
Yes. Welcome indeed. Glad to continue doing Real Pastors. Glad to be back here. Glad to be talking movies, media, all these kinds of things. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about Stranger Things. The series is done. It is over with. And this is probably the closest one because there are other series that have ended that I wish we could have
Mhm.
talked about, but so be it. Um, but yeah, so here we are. And if you guys listen, I'm just going to say this. I feel like we have to, as reviewers, if you haven't seen it yet, we're going to spoil the crap out of this thing.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
if you don't want to be spoiled because you're like, I haven't got around to it for whatever reason, just turn this off, come back later.
yeah. Watch it, come back, hear our thoughts, and share your thoughts as well.
Yes. Yeah, we'd like to hear from it.
Yep.
So as we're talking about this, I mean, season 5 came and went. I know, like, obviously, we're gonna talk about that, but I think what I want to start us off with, Gary, is the first thing for me is the reason why I love this show is because when the first season came out, it felt very Goonies,
Mhm.
right? It felt very people talk about Lost Boys as well. You know, that coming of age. You have these kids; they're mixed up in this weird thing, and they're trying to figure it out. And like there's just so much mystery around it of just trying to figure out what's going on, why is it going on, and even the element of having Elle, like this kid that just randomly pops up. No one knows who she is. What's going on? Oh, look, she has powers. What the heck? Like just all the mystery and the suspense. I just felt built with a lot of tension, and then people keep getting added. Once Nancy gets brought into the fold, and now I forgot the boyfriend's name. I can't believe I just did that. But um,
Steve.
Steve, there we go, and the Steve, and it's like just all these things that are going on, but you're just trying to
Mhm.
figure it all out. You're trying to figure out what happened to Will. It,
Mhm.
it, it just took me back, and it's a good old classic Hollywood with these kind of movies and these kind of media, and that's why I fell in love with it. I thought it was great, and I think that's why most people fell in love with it because they miss this type of storytelling.
Oh yeah, I'm a sucker for '80s. Anything set in the '80s, I love it. It reminds me, I was born in '88, so I didn't, I'm more of a '90s,
Hmm.
kid. But I just love all things '80s. If you look around my office here, you'll see it. But when this show came about, it was very much. It reminded me of why I loved the '80s movies. Why I loved the Goonies, all the things you talked about, and it was so well written. And it
Hmm.
kept you guessing in a good way. And each episode was just like built to the just it just got better as it went on, especially like the first season and stuff. But I remember it came about at a perfect time for me. So the first season went, dropped on Netflix when I was house sitting for my senior pastor when we were living in Charleston. He lived
Hmm.
on a horse farm. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were out of town and they needed someone to stay at their house because they had a farm dog named Smokey. All right.
Hmm.
And Smokey kept terrorizing the neighbor's ducks. All right. And so he said, I need someone to make sure Smokey doesn't kill the neighbor's ducks because the neighbor was not happy about it. So I felt like I could not leave his house. So I turned on their Netflix and I had heard about Stranger Things and I just watched Stranger Things like crazy. And John, if you're listening, you're probably not. I got no work done that week. I stayed on your horse farm and watched Stranger Things all week. Um, so yeah, I just remember watching it on the horse farm and just absolutely loving it. The
Hmm.
characters, the way the story was written, the visuals, just such a great show. And it was appointment viewing for me and my wife. And it was one of those shows where like so many people like watched it. And it was a conversation starter. People talking about the characters and the series. And when it was coming back on, people were excited for it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I absolutely loved this show.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think it was one of those shows that it got so popular that it kind of brought back the good old times of like what people call water cooler talk. right? Where you knew everybody was watching it, so it gave you opportunity to be able to, like you said, talk about characters, talk about what's going on, talk about theories, all that kind of stuff. But you get to do it face to face, and you get
Yeah.
to like, oh, what about this? What about that? Because you knew people were watching it, and that's one thing. Like with streaming, is you may love a show, but if it doesn't gain popularity, and a lot of people don't like, you don't have the opportunity to talk about it. So then you just kind of feel like a weirdo who doesn't watch the show or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I really felt like that was one that brought it back. And then because of that, we got other shows that more people are loving and stuff through Netflix. But
Yeah. And I think
but
a
yeah,
lot of people kept Netflix for Stranger Things.
yeah,
And I think what was interesting about it is it wasn't tied to anything else. It was original. I mean, it paid homage to the things the Duffer Brothers loved growing up. North Carolina guys, by the way, I just found that out not too long ago.
oh, there
From
you go.
Cary, North Carolina. But it was like, so there wasn't like, well, here's what the books do. So let's see what, like Walking Dead was always like, here's what's going on in the comics. Let's see. It was its own thing. And I
Yeah,
just really appreciated that. And because of that, you didn't really know like where they could be going. You just found it out as it went along, which was interesting.
hmm, yeah, yeah. So as we are, continuing to talk about this, obviously we say this is a whole series review. But I think, first of all, we probably just need to start off with what we just said. Go ahead and just jump to season 5 and just talk about season 5 and see what it is. How do we feel? Because we just talked about what we loved about it and when it started and season 1 and what it brought all back. So of course, season 5 had a lot of hype to live up to,
Oh
and
yeah.
to be able to really stick the landing on the ending. Like there was a lot riding on it, and I know you and I definitely have some thoughts we want to share. So I'll start it off with you, sir.
Hmm.
Season 5,
Okay.
series finale.
Okay.
What you
Well, I first want to say I really liked how they released season 5.
think?
I liked how they released the first part at Thanksgiving night. It was a Thanksgiving night,
Yeah.
and then New Year's Eve, and then right after Christmas. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was cool. And I just remember like Thanksgiving Day, enjoying the day, and me and my wife both like Stranger Things tonight. That sounded weird, but but so all right. Oh gosh, I really enjoyed the first part of season 5.
Mhm.
I thought it took things to the next level. I thought it came back with a bang. I really enjoyed it. Volume 2 to the ending, I felt like I was watching a different show.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna say I am thankful that we didn't have Real Pastors back right after the ending
Mhm.
because I've calmed down since then.
Yeah.
If we would have went on live or did a video right after the finale, I would have said some things I did not mean.
Right.
I was not happy. Um, let's
Yeah.
see. I have a love hate for season 5.
Mhm.
I think it's the best way to describe it. I love the first part. Um, hated the second part, and the finale. There were things I really liked about it, but there was also a lot of things I did not like at all.
Mhm.
Um, and I know people are going to think, well, he's just not happy because of the whole Will being gay thing. Look, it was the worst kept secret in TV. Everyone knew Will was gay.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean it was obvious. You know,
Yeah.
um, what I didn't like about that is how the show came to a screeching halt to deal with it.
Right.
I thought that was really, really poorly written.
Mhm.
Everything after that, dealing with that part, was really poorly written.
Mhm.
Um, and it was so. There were times in volume 2 and 3 of season 5 where I thought to myself, I cannot believe the same people that wrote season 4 wrote this.
Mhm.
It was just off. Something was off. And the ending with Vecna and the Mind Flayer felt very anticlimactic.
Mhm.
Um, I'm one of the people, I have no idea. Like the Upside Down just felt like a different, just a random place they go. It didn't seem like a threat anymore. And
Yeah.
maybe fine because they were used to it. I don't know. Where were the Demodogs, Demodordans? Where were they?
Yeah.
Some people think that's a nitpick. I don't think it is. They were such a huge presence all throughout the series, and now you come to the
Yeah.
final battle, and they're nowhere to be found. Where are the bats that killed Eddie?
Yeah.
Where is this? Where is all this stuff? It was just really just so rushed, so anticlimactic. and I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
I was really bothered by it. So bothered, in fact, I will admit, I got into the conspiracy stuff. I got into the conformity gate stuff.
Mhm.
I thought that we were going to get a surprise episode, because I just refused to accept that this show that I loved ended the way it did.
Mhm.
And I, yeah, I didn't like the stuff with Nancy and
Jonathan.
Jonathan. I thought that scene was very poorly written. It was confusing. It made no. It was like, what are they saying? Are they breaking up? What are they doing? Well,
Mhm.
you know, what's going? Why is the paint trying to eat them? What is going on? And so that's all the stuff I did not like. Okay.
Yeah.
But there were things about the finale I did like. Do we want to save that, or you want me to just go ahead and get into it?
I'll go ahead and get into it. Let's hear what you like to.
I liked that Joyce was the one that cut off Vecna's head.
Mhm.
I love the montage of her replaying everything,
Yeah.
and what she said to him, before she cut his head off. I love that it was 11 strikes. I didn't know that until my brother-in-law pointed that out to me, Michael. He said it was. I was like, that is cool. I didn't know. I didn't realize that. I thought it was perfect that she was the one. I loved Dustin at the graduation.
Oh yeah.
Saying everything Eddie said he was going to say. I thought that was a really cool
Yeah.
moment for him. And the ending with them playing Dungeons and Dragons, I
Mhm.
thought was very nice. Them all having a moment. And then passing it along to the younger generation. I thought that was nice. So
Mhm.
that's what I liked about it. Oh, the other thing was, and this is what I needed more of from season 5, when when Hopper shot the gun at Vecna, messing with Hopper,
Uh-huh.
making him think he shot 11. Like,
Right.
that was insane. Like, that whole segment was just, that whole scene was just incredible. And I just needed more stuff like that. And I'm thinking, why didn't Vecna do that type of stuff? Vecna didn't even feel like the same Vecna from season 4. And
Right.
yeah, if I continue, this is going to be a 2-hour episode.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
really and trust me, I wanted to love every second of this, and I just
Mhm.
didn't, and I got to be honest. But so, yeah.
Yeah. I
And
just.
can I also say
Yeah.
one last thing? They tie it to this Broadway play that very few people have seen.
Mhm.
Like they tie it into that. No one knows about it, and then they go and write season 5 and have callbacks to that. But who's, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I know. And I'll be honest. I think you have been much more gracious than I was with the entire season. So like, because for me, like the part 1 drove me absolutely nuts. Episode 1, because here we are. Because here's the thing: season 4 built up, everything that just happened, right? And the upside down is coming into Hawkins. It's currently on fire. Like Vecna got what he needed, and they're coming through, right? Like this is happening. He got the 4 kids or whatever, and it's split up. Like it is currently happening. And then we start season 5, and it's like, actually, it's not happening right now. It's
There's
just
an earthquake or something.
yeah, it's just an earthquake. We kind of covered the holes with metal and Vecna. Now we got to find Vecna. He's kind of hiding out. Like, wait a sec. He literally was about to come through. Like, he left that cliffhanger that he was coming through, and then so it just felt so disjointed from season 4, and so it drove me nuts. And then as we're going through that, we're not even with the main characters that we love. We're hanging out. We're hanging out with Will's little sister, and then we're figuring out her friends, and then we're bringing all these extra characters into it. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, and then even though I love seeing Sarah Connor,
which she had nothing to do, by the way. They barely gave her anything to do.
Yeah, like, how do you bring her in and do nothing? But at least they set that up. Like, okay, well, maybe since the military is in there, they were able to do something. Let's figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
nothing happened with that. And so, and I will say that's retrospect, like finishing this season, coming back, and like, well, that was a waste, because that was one thing I said, well, maybe this will lead to something good. And so essentially you sideline your main characters that we all want to see from episode 1 and 2. And I'm just like, dude, come on, like I don't care. And then now we figuring out that Vecna's has to now gather 12 kids as opposed to 4 back before. He's got to gather these 12 to be able to finish to merge. Like, but he already started the merger. I'm just like, none of this is making sense. And so for me, from like the get go, I'm like, this is terrible. This like what is happening? And to me, I'm like, you had what they have 3 years? Was it 3 years?
Yeah.
Or something, or 2 years? I'm just like, how did we go from this tight-knit story for 4 seasons, aside from season 3 and Elle's little side quest? Everything else was really tight-knit and well-written and interwoven together. How do we go from that to, hey, we're kind of pivoting and doing this whole different thing? And honestly, I did get, and you'll understand this, I did get Rise of Skywalker vibes with season 5.
Oh,
so like
that's harsh.
But because for me, it was very like, here's what we're leading towards, and now we're going to ignore it, and we're going to do this instead. Like that's why for me, I was just like, this is brutal. But of course, I finished because I'm like, okay, maybe the first part didn't do it to me. Maybe the second part would do better, because at least the first part ended with, Will figuring out these powers and doing these things, which is cool. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe this will lead to something, because at least the Demigorgons were actually like a threat and were a problem, but this is a thing that dealt with it. And then we get into the second part, second, third parts. And then what drove me nuts was these Demigorgons that were these creatures that no one could handle.
They get distracted by a dryer.
Yeah, and it's just like they get distracted by a dryer. Now all of a sudden they're jokes. They're just like they're like, just fodder, like just random bad guys that you just kind of beat up and move through. Like it's not a big deal. And I'm just like, no. You've already established these Demigorgons are insane, and you've already established that. And now they're no big deal just because Will can like control the creature and move on. But even then, it doesn't. But then they go back to it when they try to capture the one and use it to find Vecna.
Yeah.
And then that one comes back to life, and then they have to kill it because it's about to kill them all. It's intent. So I'm like, pick or choose. Is it a big deal or not?
Yeah.
I want it to be a big deal, right? And so, I mean, even in the Russian prison, right? You're not going to survive this. Yeah. Like, so I guess that's the biggest thing, is like you've already set the groundwork to all these things that you just decided to ignore in season 5. And those are the things that drove me nuts. Yeah. And then, of course, like, you brought up like the scene about Will coming out and stuff. And I'm just like, honestly, yeah, I thought it was stupid, but like, that was honestly the least thing I had a problem with, because of everything else that they did. I mean, even what's her face, who was also gay, and her kind of her relationship with her girlfriend, but then that amounted to nothing. Like, it just.
Oh yeah, she didn't get to be on the rooftop, by the way, at the end.
Yeah, like there's just
all this time we spent with that is like, okay, what?
And then that amounted to nothing. Like, if you're gonna make us sit through this, and then the whole Will coming out scene, I'm like, if you wanted to do that and do that right, like that should have been a him, his mom, and Will conversation, and leave it at that. Like at most, you have the original boy group, right? Like the original 4 boys with mom, and leave it at that. But they had to just spend however long. It's just like what it comes down. The reason why I bring it up, because when it comes down to, I was just like, this is written terribly.
Yeah, it was.
I felt like you think they had thought all these things through, but they didn't. And then come to find out, watching the behind the scenes stuff, seeing different things on YouTube. I didn't actually watch the thing on Netflix. The Duffer Brothers admitted that they weren't done writing the season before they started.
Oh yeah, filming. Yeah. The documentary was really good, but they absolutely say it. They had no idea. And it's just like, I mean, I'm not a professional writer. I don't know all it takes, but I'm also like, you had all this time.
Yeah.
Like,
what doesn't make sense to me is like, well, we have no idea how this is going to end. I'm like, you literally have already set up the ending.
Yeah.
You had set up the ending because it was already established in season 3 that the Mind Flayer was the one in charge. Yeah. Like, he was the big bad. Like, you already had that set up as of season 3. All right. We're just trying to figure out how Vecna fits into this.
Yes.
Into this plan. That's all you had to explain, is how does Vecna tie into all this with the Mind Flayer? Because we all know the Mind Flayer is the big bad that we have to defeat. And honestly, I know people had issues with the upside down being the black hole into the other world and blah.
I didn't mind that. I thought that was
I
a
didn't
pretty
mind
cool
that.
reveal.
I thought that was
a cool reveal. Yeah.
Agreed. I thought that was cool. I thought that was good. And I like that it was like, we're going to try to merge. I'm cool with all that. What I wasn't cool with is once they get to that world where all these baddies are, not a single one was found.
No,
They were able to just walk through this open desert straight to the Mind Flayer. It's like, what? This is where they're all coming from. And now it's just not a big deal.
Yeah.
So they kind of disappear from the upside down. They disappear from that world. We're done? Like, and then even the battle with Vecna, like Elle was supposed to be this big battle.
Mm-hmm.
It was over in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and I understand Will was there and stuff, and he helped, and that should have been an ultimate tag team match between Elle, Will, Vecna, and the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
And
the Mind Flayer is kind of an afterthought. It was just he's connected to it, and it was just. But you're right. All through the series, we see this giant shadow in the background. It's like, but it was
this puppet master pulling the strings, and then he gets blown up with a couple grenades, and that's it. I mean, it was like the kids were the Joker. Look what I've done to this city with a couple of drums of gasoline, and a couple of bullets. Like that's what it felt like, and it was like, really? Are you kidding me? Like this is, and so. But the thing with Joyce finishing him off and stuff, that was good.
Yeah.
But here's the problem I had with it. Wait a second. But you also already established that Will and Vecna are connected. He feels what Vecna feels. So why wasn't Will hurt by getting when Vecna got his head? Like it just.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. The only reason why these things end up coming to mind is because I was already disjointed because from episode 1, they've already kind of said, we're doing something else. And that's why. So it's like, I feel like if you just came into it, if they just said, okay, here's season 5, just watch this, and you had no history and they just put you in the middle of a story, I think season 5 will be fine. But it was the fact that you already have all these years and these 4 seasons that you're building up towards. And then and this is why I say Rise of Skywalker vibes. You built these things in the first 2 movies. Say what you want about those first 2, but then the third one, like we're going back. We're just going to do this. Yeah, and that's what drove me nuts.
Do you think the layoff ended up when, in my mind, it's like, okay, there's a giant layoff. You know, we always talked about how the kids are going to be older, and and it did lose that, but that's unavoidable. You know.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's okay. They've had this much time; it'll be even better. But do you think the layoff actually hurt it?
I mean, I think possibly. I think it did hurt it because with stuff like this, where you're trying to build to something, what you have done, you've given the audience time to sit here and like to really sit with it and to mull it over, to have theories, to have conversations, and all this kind of stuff. So you do end up putting yourself in a position where unless you make it perfect, you're going to lose. But so I think that layoff, that layover, you know, I think there's writer strikes in there too that kind of mess things up. So there are certain things that definitely had working against it. However, I just didn't seem like they were dedicated to actually staying committed to the story they've already written. Like that's what it felt to me. It felt like season 5 was, hey, we have to wrap this up. There's a couple things we haven't dealt with that we want to deal with, that we want to say. So let's just hurry up and say it and then be done with it. Like that's what it came off to me as.
It's almost like they wanted the closing with the Dungeons and Dragons and the kids coming downstairs. So they were like, we want that to feel different. We want that to feel even better. So we're going to make them a vocal point of the series,
right?
Of the season, which I didn't like that either. You know, I didn't need that much time with the younger Wheeler sister. I just didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like they wanted that, and they wanted Will's coming out scene, and they were like, let's just see whatever else. Let's just throw the wall, see what sticks. That's how it came across. It's like they had that ending. You know, one thing we haven't touched on is what did you think of 11's ending? What do you think of how that went down?
That is actually something I did like.
Okay.
Because I like that it was very self-sacrificial. You know, she gave up. You know, she gave up her relationship with Will. She gave up, you know, being with her now new dad, right? Like
Mike. Yeah.
So Mike, sorry, yeah, with Mike. And
Will was not interested.
that's right, you're right. Will was not interested. But her relationship with Mike, her relationship with Hopper and with Joy, like she gave all that up because she knew the military won't stop hunting for her.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to be mad if she actually did die, but I like what she did. And I like that, because her sister, 9 or whatever her number was, I was annoyed that she came back, but I felt that was the one payoff where, okay, you brought her back to do this for this reason. Okay, that payoff was actually good, so she can live in peace, but also so can all the people she loved. And so,
what she did to the army guys, like that was full blown unhinged 11 with the gun, and I was like, holy cow, that was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was good. I mean, honestly, I don't know how else you end that because the government's always going to be there unless you just kill off every single person in the government, which at that point, that's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
So you either had to do what they did or you had to kill off 11. Those were the only options. Yeah. And I prefer, killing off 11 would have been bold and I would have respected that as well. But I thought this was good too.
Yeah, I liked it as well. I was kind of iffy on the whole waterfall thing at the end, but then someone brought up a good point. It came across with that tied into the Dungeons and Dragons ending, and then talk. I believe it came across as a choose your own adventure type book,
right?
Which was huge in the 80s. It was like a very 80s dungeon. You choose your own adventure. If you can, which sounds like a cop out, but when you put it in that context of those kinds of stories, it's like you can choose to believe she died or she got away, and choose your own adventure. So I thought that was, I didn't mind that. Yeah. And and you're right. It is the government was going to continue to pursue her to weaponize her. That was not gonna change.
Yeah. So they had no option.
And there are some nitpicks that I do not agree with. People saying people are upset because no one else died. Okay. I didn't mind that. I didn't need everyone to die. The fact that the army just left after what happened is like, okay, that's a nitpick. This is a TV show, that it is what it is, But I do feel the things we talked about being upset with is valid. This was overall season 5 was really poorly written, and that's just what I narrowed it down to.
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like for me, like the nitpick of no one died. Here's my thing: if you're going to introduce 20 more characters, and season 2, 3, and 4, when they introduced a new character, that's the new character that got offed.
Yeah,
and so the fact that they decided not to do that, you had such an ensemble, but you just felt at least I felt halfway through. No one's going to die this season. They're just not going to do it this time. And it just brought the stakes down because you didn't know who's going to make it through. Now I don't agree with people who said one of the main cast, right? Like
that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
like one of them 5 should have died. I don't think so. I don't think that needed to be the case. But outside of those 5, I feel like you could have had someone actually.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was speaking to the core 5. And I think the reason, because the 11 ending was going to be so heavy, I don't think they needed someone else, Right. Did they get you with the Steve scene? Did you think Steve died when he fell?
Yes, I did. And honestly, I was, but I would have been okay with that one because I wasn't the original 5 core kids. Okay. But I thought that would have been okay, we're up in the stakes. We're up in the stakes here with this. But to me, it's if you're going to kill Steve, I feel like he should have had more of a noble death than just
not just falling off the tower.
Yeah. So that's why I was also okay with him not dying. Because I'm if he would have died at that moment, that would have kind of cheapened his character as well.
Yeah, Steve was a great character too. So it was, that was good. Yeah, and him and Dustin's dynamic throughout the season, I did enjoy. Dustin just being distraught about Eddie, wrestling with that,
which made sense because of what he went through with Eddie.
Yeah. And I saw someone said that Dustin's bullies in episode 1 were more of a threat than the Demogorgons.
Yeah,
I was like, not wrong. So
they cause more damage, that's for sure.
Yeah. So we wrapped it up as a whole, season 5. What was your favorite season, Stranger Things?
Yeah. So For me, I honestly I have a boring answer, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry because my favorite season, honestly, was just season one. Um, there's just
Alright.
something about season one
Yeah.
that when I think of Stranger Things, my mind immediately goes to season one. And I think it was just not only like this new, fresh thing, but it's just that callback, right? Just that
Yeah.
callback to everything I talked about, what we said, why we fell in love with the show, and so that's why for me it'll always be season one because of that mystery, that intrigue, that suspense, and
Mhm.
like I always loved the we're trying to figure things out with the characters that we're watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're on the ride with the characters, and that's what I absolutely love. Now the other seasons had that as well, but it's kind of like for instance, A Quiet Place.
Mhm.
When you watch the original Quiet Place, you're trying to figure out what in the world's going on.
Oh, that's a really good example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so you're just like, yeah, and then so A Quiet Place Part Two, A Quiet Place Day One, some of that suspense and things like it was kind of gone.
Mhm.
So those movies, although I thought were pretty good, it just didn't have the same gravitas as that first movie. So I felt it was the same way with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I like season 2, 3, and 4. I like them a lot, but I just feel like they didn't carry the same weight as that original season. So that's why the first season is my
Makes sense.
favorite.
Season 1 is special. Season 1, I would like to I remember being on the horse farm watching season 1
Mhm.
because of how special it was. So you're
Yeah.
not wrong. The only wrong answer to this, if anyone says season 5, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but my favorite season, not only of Stranger Things, but of any one of my favorite seasons of any TV show is season 4 of
Mhm.
Stranger Things. I love see yeah, there we go. The season 4 of Stranger Things was just so awesome. You know, bringing in Vecna, it just really like it poured gasoline on the series and it just took everything to the next level. It was terrifying. It
Mhm.
was intriguing. It was interesting. I absolutely adore season 4. Hey, that rhymed of Stranger Things and the separate ways scene when they're in the RV and they're going to Vecna's house, I believe, and there's
Yeah.
the remix of Journey Separate Ways. I listen to that on Amazon Music. That version of that song a lot of times when I'm driving because I just love that scene
Yeah.
and I see that, and it's always been on. It gets posted on Twitter. It gets that. I love that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in any TV show. And I sit there, and I'm sorry, I don't want to be negative, but I sit there and I'm like, I cannot believe the same people who wrote this wrote season 5. It just it's
Yeah.
something happened, you know.
Yeah.
But season 4, we didn't talk about a rating, but what would you rate this Stranger Things as a whole out of
As a
5?
whole,
Yeah,
um, so oh man, put me on the
yeah. I
spot
kind of
because
threw that on you there. Sorry, I
yeah,
just
you
thought
kind of
about
threw
that.
that one on me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Man, that's a good question.
I
So because like it's like because by season I feel like I had different ratings
okay,
um,
that's fair. Yeah.
for them, but if we're gonna look at it as a whole, here's what makes it tough because it's like so I love season 1, season 2. Season 3 I thought was a bit of a dip for certain reasons.
Is that the
Uh,
mall one?
yeah, that's the mall
Okay.
one. Like I feel like the ending and everything about it was great, but there was just stuff in the middle that just kind of made it
Mhm.
like not as good as the other two. Thought season 4 was a good comeback, and then season 5 we've discussed.
Yeah.
Um, so like it's just hard to grade it as a whole. I think if I grade it, man, I don't know. Do you have a rating already? While I try to
Yeah.
think of
Yeah,
okay,
I'm gonna
go
go
ahead.
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 hat
Yeah.
tip rating from me.
Mhm.
Because you get 4 amazing seasons and 5 just for the most part didn't stick the landing. So naturally I gotta go 4 out of 5 on it.
Mhm.
You know, but because it did it season 5 was just such a letdown overall. Um,
Yeah. 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 I definitely didn't. I wasn't thinking like 5 or nothing because of everything we've talked about.
yeah.
Uh, because I did just really, really like the show. I just remember being like season 3, being a little disappointed. But season 1, 2, and 4, I thought were fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what you know. This is where like if we could cheat and I say 3.5, I
Yeah.
probably
There's a time for it. There's a time
yeah
for it.
because just the up and down because of what we've talked about before about like about sequels and stuff like Lord of the Rings, I think, is the greatest trilogy because it kept building on each other and each one was better than the next and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. and when you have dips, it makes me like bring that rating down a little bit. But even with the 3.5, I think I just have to round it up and just go to 4 as well, because I can't bring it down to 3. I mean, there were 3 great seasons.
Yeah.
And see, again, 3 great seasons, 1 terrible season, and 1 season that I probably would just, okay, this one like season 3, I probably would give it a 3, but season 1, I would probably give it a 5. Season 2
the curve goes up to a 4.
Yeah, so like, because that's what I was thinking. Season 1, 5, season 2, 4, season 3, 3, but season 4 back to 4. Season 5 would get a 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so 3.5, but round it up, give it a 4.
Yeah. I got to start throwing random questions on you more. We see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking for the documentary I thought they put together around season 5 was really good. I enjoyed watching it. I'm a sucker for documentaries. I'm looking forward to the animated series and what the Duffers are working on next. That is not tied to Stranger Things. I'm going to check out. So yeah, we'll see. And I saw that they are going to be recording the Broadway play and putting it on Netflix. Why they didn't do that before season 5, I don't understand. Yeah. But hey, so there's more Stranger Things content coming in, and who knows? Maybe 20 years down the road, they'll do they'll come back and try to fix their wrongs of season 5.
Yeah, and I know they have that animated show.
I can't remember what it's called. Something. Yeah. It's in between seasons 2 and 3, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
So is what I said. So
we'll see. I may or may not check that one out. We'll see.
Yeah.
Sometimes going from live action to animated doesn't always work, but we'll see.
It can be hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, what did you think of Stranger Things as a whole? Comment below. Let us know. What's your favorite season? What do you think of the ending? What do you think of season 5? And yeah, leave a comment and give us a like. We appreciate that.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe and just keep sharing it out there. And again, we're just your everyman critics. We're just giving you the thoughts of the everyman. So if that's what you want, if you're tired of critics, professional critics, and you just want, hey, what does the normal person out there think? We're here for you.
That's where we are. Yep. So thanks for watching. All right. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.